ends, this document presented by R.P. Saraf. Draft paper to be presented at the Hanumangarh Conference, Rajasthan, India. Present world corporate system, the root of all ills, needs to be restructured on the basis of a nature-human-centric agenda. This document is divided into 4 parts. In this video you are watching Part 2. Part 2 Cause of envirobiological crisis rests with world corporate system. There is near unanimity in the world, comprising the UN, WB, IMF, WTO, etc., nation-states, natural and social scientists, thinkers, and planners, that the ongoing global crisis is the outcome of the human activity. Even the most die-hard critic of the idea of the fatal nature of the present crisis, the serving U.S. President, George Bush, has now publicly admitted this fact. But none of the above-said prestigious entities has defined the concept of public activity. Neither the World Summits, that is, 1972 Stockholm World Conference on Environment and Development, 1992 Rio UN Summit and 2002 Johannesburg UN Summit on Sustainable Development has touched this question. While adopting the agenda of sustainable development, they have made only a passing reference to the unsustainable human ways and lifestyle, but shirked to pinpoint the specific structural form in which humanity, in given conditions, operates in various modes, shapes or appearances. Obviously, all the above-mentioned chief social actors have left this essential point quite vague by putting an equal blame on every human. According to this high-flown theory, every human is a polluter, but everyone knows this fact, that the responsibility of producing pollution rests with those who own pollutant-producing factories or means and not the workers engaged in those enterprises. Historical experience shows that humankind, its lifestyle, or way of life or any other activity has always existed in an organized social form, that is, society. Clan, tribe, feudal monarchy and industrial social forms have been various types of societies in human history. Each social form is distinguished by its social system, comprising constitutional and legal principles, which forms the bedrock or the distinguishing feature of that society. Today, human community is living within a global corporate system, operating through a multiple organization of nation-states. All of them follow the same corporate principles in their thinking, functioning and organization. The only difference between them pertains to their respective variations in territorial and population sizes. On the social level, they follow the same ideology, politics, economics, culture, and security mode. There is no human activity, lifestyle, or way of life independent of or apart from the concerned social system. Going by the above facts, it can be said that the existing corporate system constitutes the basis of the present furious crisis now shaking the world. The faults of this basis require to be properly studied in all the 4 dimensions of this system, that is, sociological concepts, systemic principles, operational norms and historical experience. Sociological fault. The fundamental sociological fault lies in the one-sided philosophical understanding of the Adam Smithian and the Marxian development models, both of which have functioned as 2 standard development models of the ongoing, but now retreating, nation-state system in various parts of the world. This one-sided understanding is that man constitutes the supreme phenomenon in the system of nature on our planet and even in the universe. Obviously, it projects people as the sole builder of human society and everything in it, disregarding the social truth that the change and development in human society takes place due to a 2-sided interaction that between nature and society, on the one hand, and within human society itself, on the other. The second fundamental sociological mistake arises from the one-sided understanding of the Adam Smithian and the Marxian development models about the human nature. The Adam Smithian economic model holds that humankind is selfish by nature. The Marxian economic theory takes a confusing stand on the question of human nature. Firstly, it emphasizes that mankind is social by nature. The next moment it transfers the quality of being absolutely social to the industrial proletariat, who is, according to it, destined to be the liberator of humankind. And, finally, it passes the entire monopoly of social characteristic on to the Communist Party, which alone, in its view, has the capacity to bring a social transformation in human society. In reality, however, humankind bears a 2-sided character, biological, on the one hand, and social, on the other. The biological aspect reflects the individual existence of mankind, while the social side denotes its social living, functioning and organizing. Systemic flaw. The basic systemic flaw emerges from the corporate system's aim, which sorts out profit maximization or attaining the highest growth rate as the sole aim of its development model. Both the liberal and the Marxian versions accept the growth rate as the single criterion of judging social prosperity and progress. In their search for achieving the highest growth rates, both have been running havoc with the environmental and the human development factors. The second, but a highly damaging, systemic flaw lies in the universal acceptance of the rule of monetary growth as the sole standard of measuring social prosperity and progress. The projection of money as the defining feature of social advancement has highly ignited the human ambition of money-making, which has, as is obvious from the facts today, become the main motivational factor of near about every human being, determining his perspective, mindset, aim, priority, and means and forms. Since the attainment of money and power represents the maximization of one's, or self-interest, the whole world is now chasing after these two life-extending elixirs. The money and power hunting business, by bringing in the most unsustainable environmental order and a highly unjust and inequitable human system, has now led the world to the brink of a serious environmental and human disaster. In fact, self-interest is the basic instinct of the animal sphere, while man has, since his evolution as Homo sapien, become biosocial by nature. The characteristic of being half-social is the only quality that distinguishes human species from the animal ones. When man becomes devoid of social aspect, he turns out just like an animal in his lifestyle. Operational defect. The principal operational defect is related to corporate systems' operational agency or the government. Oriented solely by self-perpetuation, the leaders of the national gouvernements, based on the party system in every country, are mainly concerned with the amassing of their own wealth and the holding of an everlasting power, by fair means or foul, with no consideration to the mass interests or any enviro-bio issue. Their pet lifestyle is, to say one thing, but do the other. They always shed tears for the poor and the deprived, but at all times serve the rich and the dominant. From the foregoing facts, it is apparent that unless the present corporate system and its development paradigm is restructured, or updated, on a sustainable, just and equitable model, there is not much possibility of giving an effective response to the highly dangerous social challenge of inequality and poverty. Historical experience of the world corporate system. How the world corporate system constitute the root of present enviro-bio crisis can be seen from its 200-year-old past and present history, which began with the Industrial Revolution, passed through various phases of development: industrial, competitive, colonial, post-colonial, and now has entered the global phase. Firstly, that is, corporate history, shows the unsustainable working of the corporate development model, thus misusing and wasting the environmental resources, on the one hand, and inhumanly treating the human resources, on the other. This has today resulted in the depletion of environmental resources and the impoverishment of human resources, thus causing the deadly eco-bio crisis on our planet. Secondly, it brings forth its sociology of self-interest as the motive force in human society. This has generated the motivation of selfishness all around, thus maximizing the tendency of personal greed and gain and negating the other human instinct of social interests. Thirdly, it displays its politics of might is right as the only social principle of maintaining stability, security, and order in society at all times and places. Thus, it conditions the mindset of power seeking at all costs, by means foul or fair, thus leading to the criminalization of the political process. Further, the politics of might is right boosts confrontationist, quarrelsome and warmongering attitude among individuals as well as in society. It creates a social environment of the domination of powerful over the weak, thus preparing the ground for the establishment of its world hegemony. Fourthly, it projects its basic economic principle of profit optimization as the only determinant of social development, thus disregarding all social interests and concerns, including those relating to environment, social justice, fairness, equality, generosity, etc. Further, the sole objective of profit optimization, combined with the sociological principle of self-interest, has set in motion the race for money-making all over the world, mainly through corrupt and depraved means. The role of corporate sector in the money laundering business can be seen from the recent cases of corporate frauds and scandals in the world's topmost multinational corporations, MNCs, especially the US-based. Fifthly, it approves of all double-dealing values, like saying one thing and doing another, justifying them in the name of market rules and exigencies of power structure. Sixthly, it makes use of all sorts of fundamentalist concepts and techniques which, while contributing in strengthening its economic and political objectives, divide the people on sectarian and extremist lines. Lastly, but more importantly, the corporate-based sustainable development model undermines the multilateral process of sustainable development, provides a handle to the corporations to manipulate and exploit the world environmental and human resources, thus carrying the eco-bio crisis to a dangerous point. Thanks for watching. This document presented by Mr. R.P. Saraf, founder of Nature Human-Centric People's Movement. Your comment and suggestion is required on this document. Share this to all your friends. Please watch next part of this document. If you want to watch latest video, then subscribe the channel. ______.